of the questions that comes in is, what is the true meaning of Easter? And I love that question. I love that question because sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what's the meaning that's buried deep into something? And I think with the Easter story, there's multiple layers of meaning there. And one of the true meanings of Easter, to me, is that God makes something beautiful out of something that's broken. I think that's, to me, the way I would summarize the deepest meaning of Easter. Just over my shoulder is, to me, an incredible work of art done by a friend of mine named Brandon. And he's an artist out in California, and he took all these broken skateboards and, of course, made an incredible picture that I hope you can enjoy. But to me, it's the brokenness. It's just all discarded pieces of skateboard that you would think have no use. And I think what Easter is, it's the ultimate story of brokenness, put into the hands of the divine, the artist, who can make something beautiful out of what is broken. Speaking of art, a friend of mine gave me a book not too long ago, and it was a guy by the name of Dominic Crossan who went and studied religious art, specifically Easter art. And he found something very interesting. He found that in the Western church, Western culture, where Catholics and Protestants and all of people like me grow up and live, they saw in that art that Jesus coming out of the tomb, but he was almost always coming out alone, carrying a flag or something. And in Eastern art, they saw something very different. When Jesus comes out of the tomb, he's usually bringing Adam with him and maybe a whole host of others. It was the contrast was attributed to when the East and the West split in the church 1,000 years ago. Something was lost in the Easter story. Something was lost in the true meaning of Easter. And the way the Eastern church would see it is when Jesus rose, it was bringing all of humanity with him. It was saying this in a sense, this is the end of death. This is death to death. And now it's all about life and hope and resurrection and newness. That's the true meaning of Easter. I was thinking about how growing up, my brother and I used to get in fights in the back seat of the car, and he would poke me, and I would poke him, and he would poke me harder, and I would poke him harder, and it would just escalate and escalate. And you've probably had similar stories in your childhood, but something has to change, and that's what happened in our world. It was just escalating and escalating, and then Jesus dies, and when he dies, he literally takes the wind out of their sails. Evil had nothing else to give. It was exhausted on Jesus at the cross. And then he comes out the other side, and Jesus conquered death with love. And so the saying is, love is stronger than death. So the true meaning of Easter, to me, is that love wins. Not evil, not death, but love. Love wins. That's the meaning of Easter.